Hi, everybody. Wow, it's been quite a year. Um, I'm trying to think of all the things I've learned this year. I don't usually do this until New Year's, but it feels like a new year right now. Pisces has just gone direct after being retrograde for months, half the year almost. And before that, it was Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde. Um, I don't even know. Jupiter in Sagittarius, my rising is Sagittarius, and Jupiter this year, man, we don't get another Jupiter in Sagittarius for another 12 years. And so I was really looking forward to this year, especially after Jupiter in Scorpio being such a bust the year before. I'm a Scorpio with a Sag rising and Taurus moon, and I have gotten into astrology just because trying to figure my life out because it's been so chaotic. Um, I started off with a narcissistic family. I was born into it, youngest of eight, and um, there's a couple empaths in the group, but mostly it was narcissists. And being the youngest and an empath, it's been quite the learning experience. Um, I had to give up my family really young because they were so toxic. At 26, I got hit by a bus and had a near-death experience. And when I came back, I remembered too much horror, and it took me a year to recover because of all the PTSD and memories that came up. I think it's about that time that I started becoming really more psychic and interested in life and death. I've always been fascinated by life and death, being a Scorpio. And as a child, I was not your typical. At 8 years old, I was reading things about Edgar Cayce and Raymond Moody, Dr. Raymond Moody, who studied people who had had near death experiences, and Elizabeth Kubler Ross, who worked with people who were on their way out, what we would call now hospice, people who are dying. So um, I've always been able to, well, not always, but recently it's become very commonplace, probably the last 10 years since I started really healing. Um, it just seems commonplace to talk to spirits and dead people since I have so many in my family who've passed, and particularly my mother, who was also, she was the only other Scorpio in the family, and she used to interpret dreams and have all these amazing powers, but kept them on the down low because my father was a total narcissist. Um, let's see. So this last year, well, the last few years really, the word narcissist started catching my attention more and more. I had no idea there was a name for it, kind of much like when I figured out I was an empath. I was, about 8, 10 years ago, I was on my computer on Facebook, and somebody listed all these things about what an empath is, and every single one of them was me. And it blew my mind so bad. Oh my God. So, anyway, I was just shocked that there was a name for it and that I wasn't nuts and that there were other people out in the world like me, even though I hadn't encountered any of them or known if I had, because I didn't know what an empath was and spent much of my life hiding and trying to not be noticed or call attention to myself. So, narcissism. I had seen the term empath narcissistic relationship several times and didn't think anything of it. And then one day, um, my son brought home a guy he had met whose tire he helped change. And this guy, like, cast a spell over us and over me in particular. He was much younger than me, but trying to put the moves on me. And that was highly suspect. But I found myself having to smudge my whole house after he left, and he brought feelings of both fascination and curiosity, but also dread and scary. Just this guy was not good news. And I could feel it, but I didn't see any evidence. But Soon after, this guy ended up being like a blessing in disguise. I soon after started reading all about narcissistic abuse and went into YouTube videos and just got lost in there, learning everything I could. I'm kind of one of those all or nothing people. If I'm curious, I'm going to keep going until I get, my curiosity satisfied. So um, I started doing all this research, and lo and behold, flashes of my childhood started coming before my eyes, and I started seeing it in my son, even though he's more covert, and I still have hope that one day he will heal himself, but he definitely has narcissistic tendencies, as do I, or where would they have learned it, right? Other than their father. Well, yeah, that's a whole nother chapter. But anyway, so this year, um, while the last few years I have lost every member of my family that I hadn't already lost. At least in my eyes, I've lost them because about 7, 8 years ago, the same time I figured out I was an empath and I was doing this detox diet and my psychic experiences and abilities just exploded. Um, I was doing it to help my kids heal, to be a better mother, to be a better person, because on some level, I felt like I had failed them. Still do, sometimes. But in any case, they were the reason I started to heal. And then over the last few years, I realized slowly but surely that I've outgrown them. They're nowhere near um, the spiritual path that I've chosen. And even though they're both highly psychic and we're telepathic with each other, I've had to like cut them out because it became detrimental to my well being and my healing. And so this last year, what I've seen this last year, it's not about them. It's about me and what happened to me as a very young child to make me believe that my feelings didn't count, that I was too big for my britches, that I was never going to be good enough, that I didn't fit in with this family and I damn well better start. Um, the brainwashing, the worst part of it for me was being told over and over again and again and again at such a young, vulnerable age that I needed to put family first, ahead of my own needs and ahead of myself. And I did. I did. It doesn't hurt that I have Mars and Cancer, you know. Mars is the warrior, Cancer is the mother and the family. So, warrior of the family. Get it? So, the last few years, I've done every single thing in my power I could to try and get back my family, whatever I thought might be left of it. And so, this revelation, the gift, I guess, from all the tumultuous energies I've had this season of my life was to, sorry, tender spot, was to show me that I need to love me as much as I love them. Whatever love I was given to them, that's what I need to give to me. My sons are in their mid 20s and they're fine. They have healing to do, but just as much as the rest of us, I suppose. But in any case, they're going to be okay, and I don't need to worry for them anymore. I've been warrioring for somebody in my family since I was born, and I need to warrior for me. So, if you're a mom and you're like me and you give, give, give until it hurts and then you give some more, or you're that kind of friend where you're so dedicated and you're hurt because people aren't giving back to you what you give them, because let's face it, if you're an empath, you're just loving and warm and generous and kind. That's your nature. You don't want war, you want peace, and you'll pretty much do whatever you have to do to get it. Only inside a family, if you're a kid, that means giving up who you are. And if you're a wife and a mother, that means stifling yourself so that everyone else can stay happy and balanced. And we just give a piece of our souls away. That's what we're taught in America and all over the world is young girls, excuse me, socializing, being socialized into society. We're taught to be nice. We're taught to be caring. We're taught to be beautiful. And beauty is not just skin deep, but we're basically taught to sacrifice who we are to be accepted. And society supports this in women. In fact, if you're not, you're a bitch. You're seen as pushy, masculine. Um, I don't even remember all the other words, but you get trashed emotionally by other women and by men. And it's just really, I guess the question boils down to, dare we be who we really are? Dare we be ourselves? Dare we show up in our true power? And I've spent most of this year hiding. I'm not going to lie. Hiding from my power, hiding from my abilities and talents and skills, probably like many of you have. I've just been too scared, too timid, too shot down. Seems like the more I get empowered, the more people try to keep me down. And when it's family, man, your own family, that's tough. Especially when you bought into this crap about, you know, putting family first. And you're the only one in the family doing that. Everyone else puts you last and expects you to enjoy it and stay there and be a good mom, be a good daughter, be a good sister. hmm I guess the encounter this year was a threat to my psychological, emotional, and physical survival. I had to be threatened physically. My home, my health, till they got through to me, my guides. And I've already learned this much younger. I learned this before I got hit by the bus when I was 26. First, God will give you a tap on the shoulder, a whisper in the ear. Then it's a bigger tap. Then it's a brick through your window. Please don't let your life get to be a car accident with a bus. Wrapped around a telephone pole, car cracked in half up the middle, bruises the size of plates covering your body. And I'm not going to go on about all the other symptoms. I'm sure you can imagine. But yeah, please don't let your life get there. Please listen to your guides and your messages and your intuition. That's what I mean by your guides and your messages. Listen to your gut, follow what you know is true, take time to step away and look at what you're doing and why. I'm really grateful for this last year because this wound was deep, deep, deep family wound that I've been suffering my whole life. I survived it. I broke the family curse. It's been my hope all along. I just really expected and wanted my sons to do it with me, but it is what it is. And I am so grateful. I really am. So, thanks for listening. Love yourself first. Love yourself first. Listen to yourself. Love yourself. Put you first. I heard on the Oprah Winfrey Show probably 3, 4 decades ago that the most important relationship you'll ever have, the most profound relationship you will ever have, is with yourself. I still pray my sons will catch up one day. I pray for all of us to catch up with our higher self. Be well on your journey, my darlings. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please like my page, Owl Woman Oracle. You can get a reading from me anytime. Just message me at Owl Wisdom Oracle, and I will be happy to look at your life with you, at the bigger patterns, talking to your dead, facing things, that are unresolved with people you love. It may not be here physically anymore. Dream interpretation, anything I can counsel you with that you need clarity on, I'm very happy to help, and I have an amazing heart and mind and intuition, so please use me. I'm charging minimal right now because I'm just getting started back on my journey, and this is my journey. You are part of my journey. Thanks. Be well.